The door creaked open like a confession I wasn't ready to hear, and there she was. My sister-in-law Marlene tangled in the sheets of my marital bed, her laughter cutting off mid-breath as her eyes locked on mine. Jack, my husband of 15 years, froze beside her, his face draining of color faster than a punctured vein. The air reeked of sweat and cheap perfume, the kind Marlene doused herself in to mask her chain-smoking habit. My keys slipped from my hand, clattering against the hardwood floor like shattered glass, echoing the fracture in my chest. Fury surged through me, hot and blinding, but beneath it, a colder current. Betrayal not just from him, but from the whole damn family who'd whispered warnings about my instability for years. And in that moment, as Jack stammered excuses, I thanked whatever cruel god watched over me that I'd hidden the lottery win, the $12 million ticket burning a hole in my secret safe deposit box. If they knew, this wouldn't be shock on their faces. It'd be greed. I stood there, rooted in the doorway of our suburban colonial home, the late afternoon sun slanting through the blinds like prison bars across their naked bodies. My heart hammered against my ribs, each beat an accusation. How long? How many times? Marlene pulled the comforter up to her chin, her bleach blonde hair matted against her forehead, eyes wide with feigned innocence. Emily, it's not. Oh God, it's not what it looks like. Her voice trembled, but I caught the flicker of calculation in her gaze, the same one she'd worn when borrowing money from me last year, promising repayment that never came. Jack scrambled out of bed, yanking on his boxers, his potbelly jiggling in a way that might have been comical if it didn't twist the knife deeper. Baby, listen. This was a mistake. A stupid one-time thing. His words slurred slightly, the remnants of lunchtime beers on his breath wafting toward me. I could taste the bile rising in my throat, feel the humiliation burning my cheeks. 15 years of scraping by. Me working double shifts at the hospital as a nurse, him bouncing between construction jobs, while I dreamed of a better life for our kids. And now this. In our bed with his brother's wife. I turned on my heel, the room spinning, and stormed down the hallway. Photos lined the walls. Our wedding day, smiles frozen in time. The kids' school portraits, innocent and oblivious. My mind raced back to 3 weeks ago, the night I'd scratched off that lottery ticket in the dim light of my car after a graveyard shift. The numbers aligned like fate's cruel joke. 7, 14, 23, 38, 45, Powerball 12. I'd stared at the ticket, trembling, the weight of $12 million after taxes crashing over me. Joy. No, not immediately. Suspicion. Resentment. I'd grown up in a family where money was a weapon, my parents pitting my brother Tom and me against each other for scraps. Jack's family was no better. Marlene and Tom always scheming, always needing just a little help. So I'd hidden it, cashed it quietly through a lawyer, set up anonymous accounts. No one knew. And now, as Jack chased after me, pleading, I clung to that secret like a lifeline. Emily, wait. We can talk about this. His hand grabbed my arm in the kitchen, fingers digging in just enough to bruise. I yanked away, spinning to face him, my voice a low hiss that surprised even me. Talk. You've been fucking my sister-in-law, Jack. In our house. While the kids are at school. The words tasted like venom, each one laced with a heartbreak I'd buried under years of quiet endurance. Inside, a storm brewed. Anger at him, humiliation that I'd been blind, resentment toward Marlene for her smug entitlement. But deeper, a gnawing obsession took root. How to make them pay, how to turn this knife back on them. He ran a hand through his thinning hair, eyes darting like a trapped animal. It was her idea. She came on to me. Tom's been hitting her. She needed comfort. Lies piled on lies, each one flimsier than the last. I laughed, a bitter bark that echoed off the granite countertops I'd saved for months to install. And you just happened to provide it. Bear me, Jack. I know about the text. The late nights at work. I'd suspected for months, little hints, perfume on his collar, unexplained charges on the credit card. But denial had been my shield, a fragile armor now shattered. The front door burst open then, Tom barreling in, his face flushed from whatever bar he'd crawled out of. Marlene must have texted him in the chaos. He was a burly man, my brother-in-law, with tattoos snaking up his arms and a perpetual scowl that hid his insecurities. "What the hell is going on?" he bellowed, eyes flicking between us. Jack stepped back, guilt etched in every line of his body. Marlene appeared in the hallway, wrapped in my robe, my goddamn robe, tears streaking her makeup. "Tom, it's nothing. Emily's overreacting." Overreacting. The word ignited something primal in me. Years of their manipulations flashed, Tom borrowing our car and returning it dented, Marlene guilting me into babysitting her kids while she partied, the family gatherings where they'd joke about my tight-fisted ways, never acknowledging the bills I paid alone. Heartbreak twisted into resentment, a slow poison seeping through my veins. I wanted to scream, to claw at their faces, but instead I forced a calm that felt like ice cracking under pressure. "Get out. All of you." Tom advanced, his breath sour with whiskey. "This is family business, Em. We sort it out together." His tone was patronizing, the same one he'd used when convincing Jack to invest in that failed business scheme 2 years ago, leaving us in debt. Doubt flickered in me. Was I the villain here? Overreacting to a mistake? But no, this was betrayal layered on betrayal, a family web designed to ensnare me. That night, after they'd left, Jack to a motel, Marlene and Tom to their rundown apartment, I sat alone in the darkened living room, the kids asleep upstairs, oblivious. The house creaked around me, shadows lengthening like accusations. Guilt gnawed at me, for not seeing it sooner, for staying in this marriage, for hiding the money that could have changed everything. But hiding it had been instinctual, born from a lifetime of being the responsible one, the fixer. Now, as I sipped bitter coffee, fantasies bloomed in my mind, using the money to vanish, to expose them, to ruin them as they'd ruined me. Obsession took hold, a dark companion whispering plans. I'd play the victim for now, let them think I was broken. But inside, cold resolve hardened. Revenge would come, quiet and calculated. The next morning dawned gray and oppressive, rain pattering against the windows like impatient fingers. I called in sick to work, my voice hoarse from unshed tears. The kids, Lily and Max, 10 and 12, sensed the tension, their questions probing like needles. "Where's Dad?" Lily asked over cereal, her wide eyes mirroring my own from childhood photos. I forced a smile, the effort like lifting weights. "He's away for work, sweetie. He'll be back soon." Lies to protect them or myself. Moral conflict churned. They deserved truth, but not the ugliness that would scar them. Jack texted relentlessly. "I'm sorry. Let's talk." I ignored him, instead driving to the bank where my secret account waited. The teller, a young woman with sympathetic eyes, handed over the statements without question. 12 million invested wisely, growing. Power surged through me, tempering the humiliation. Back home, I pored over old emails, bank records, subtle hints of theft. Jack had siphoned small amounts from our joint account, transfers to Marlene's name. Heartbreak deepened. Not just an affair, but financial betrayal. Resentment festered, turning to obsession. I'd confront them, but on my terms. Days blurred into a haze of feigned normalcy. I cooked dinners, helped with homework, all while my mind plotted. Subtle hints emerged. A whispered phone call from Jack to Tom, overheard when he came to collect his things. "She's falling apart, man. We need to handle this." Handle what? Paranoia gripped me, but so did resolve. I hired a private investigator discreetly, paying in cash from my hidden funds. His report arrived a week later. Photos of Jack and Marlene, bank statements showing loans in my name I'd never signed. Forgery. They'd planned to bankrupt me, force a divorce where I'd get nothing. Fury boiled, but I buried it, letting quiet calculation take over. At a family intervention they staged. Tom, Marlene, Jack, even my estranged mother, they sat in my living room like judges. "Emily, you're not yourself," my mother said, her voice quivering with false concern. She'd always favored Tom, my brother, But he was absent wisely. We think you need help. Therapy, maybe. Marlene nodded, her eyes avoiding mine, suppressed rage in her clenched fists. Jack reached for my hand, I pulled away. This is about the affair. Asked flatly, testing. Tom leaned forward. It's bigger than that. We're worried about the kids. Lies all of it. I saw the hidden motive. Control me, access whatever they thought I had. Doubt crept in. Am I obsessed? Paranoid. But the evidence was ironclad. I played along, tears flowing on cue. Maybe you're right. Inside, plans solidified. Use the money to expose them, dismantle their lives. Fear mingled with excitement. What if it backfired? Moral grayness loomed. Revenge or justice? As part one closed, tension simmered. I'd invited them for a reconciliation dinner, my smile masking the storm. Little did they know the lottery secret was my weapon, sharpening in the shadows. The dinner table gleamed under the chandelier's soft glow, silverware clinking like the ticking of a bomb. I'd set it meticulously. Linen napkins folded into swans, candles flickering with deceptive warmth. The aroma of roast beef and garlic mashed potatoes filled the air, a facade of domestic bliss. Jack sat across from me, his eyes pleading, while Tom and Marlene flanked him, their postures rigid with unease. The kids were at a sleepover, safely away. This looks amazing, Em, Jack said, his voice strained, forcing normalcy. I smiled, the expression feeling like a mask cracking at the edges. Inside, cold resolve pulsed. Tonight, the slow burn ignited. We ate in tense silence at first, forks scraping plates like nails on chalkboard. Marlene broke it, her voice saccharine. I'm glad we're doing this. Family forgives, right? Her eyes darted to Tom, who nodded gruffly, his tattooed knuckles white around his wine glass. Hypocrisy dripped from her words. I knew from the PI's report she'd been siphoning funds from their joint business, a failing auto shop, into a secret account, planning to flee with Jack. Heartbreak had evolved into resentment. Now obsession fueled my every move. Forgiveness, I echoed, sipping wine that tasted like ash. It's not easy when trust is shattered. Jack cleared his throat. Em, I swear it's over. We can rebuild. Lies again. I'd seen the texts. Plans to meet tomorrow. Doubt flickered. Was revenge worth the guilt? But humiliation's scar ran deep, pushing me forward. I steered conversation subtly, dropping hints. Remember that time we talked about winning the lottery? What we'd do? Tom chuckled, but his eyes sharpened. Yeah, buy a yacht or something stupid. Marlene leaned in. I'd pay off debts, start fresh. Greed glinted, unsubtle. As dessert arrived, chocolate cake I'd baked with trembling hands, I excused myself to the kitchen. There I retrieved the envelope from the drawer. Copies of bank statements, photos, forged signatures. My heart raced, fear coiling like a snake. What if they turn violent? What if I lose the kids? Moral conflict raged. This was justice, but tainted with vengeance. Back at the table, I slid the envelope forward. Before we rebuild, let's clear the air. Jack's face paled as he opened it. What is this? Photos spilled out, him and Marlene in motels, receipts for loans in my name. Tom's jaw clenched. Emily, this is invasion of privacy, he roared, standing. Marlene gasped, tears welling, crocodile tears. How could you? She whispered, but her voice held suppressed rage, a hint of the manipulator beneath. I leaned back, voice steady despite the storm inside. How could I? You've been stealing from me for years, forging my name on loans, planning to leave me penniless. The room erupted. Accusations flying, denials sharp as knives. Jack stammered. It was to save the business. We were going to pay it back. Tom advanced, fists balled. You bitch, always thinking you're better. Fury exploded in me, but I held ground. Sit down, Tom. Or the police get this tomorrow. They froze, the air thick with tension. Here was the slow burn payoff. Not violence, but revelation. There's more, I said calmly. 3 weeks ago I won the lottery. $12 million. Shock rippled across their faces. Jack's eyes widening in greed, Marlene's in calculation, Tom's in rage. You hid it. Jack whispered, betrayal in his tone. Ironic, delicious. Yes, I replied, cold resolve shining through. And it was the best thing I ever did. Because now I see you clearly. Fantasies of justice played out. I'd already transferred funds to secure accounts, hired lawyers to file for divorce, expose their fraud. But guilt tugged. They were family, flawed but human. Obsession won. They'd humiliated me, broken me. Now payback. The twist came swift. As they begged, Jack promising change, Marlene sobbing apologies, Tom threatening, I revealed the final card. The loans. I paid them off anonymously last week. But with conditions. Their confusion deepened. I'd used the money to buy their debts, their business, even their apartment building through shells. It's all mine now. Eviction notices go out tomorrow. Poetic justice. They'd lose everything just as they'd planned for me. Jack crumpled, heartbreak mirroring mine. Please. But I felt only hollow victory, unexpected consequences dawning, loneliness, the kids' pain. As they left, defeated, rain lashing the windows, I sat alone, the house echoing with ghosts. Revenge tasted bittersweet, a cold resolve giving way to quiet guilt. Had I become the monster? The money, once a secret salvation, now a chain. But in the silence, a whisper. Freedom at last. Yet, in the days that followed, subtle hints emerged. Anonymous tips to authorities about Tom's tax evasion, Marlene's embezzlement. Not my doing. Paranoia returned. Then the call. My brother Tom. Wait, no, my own brother, absent till now, on the line. Sis, I heard. You did good hiding it. But remember, family secrets run deep. Hidden motives unveiled. He'd been the puppet master, feeding me doubts years ago, waiting for this. The real betrayal. Deeper than I knew. Psychological impact hit. Revenge's cycle unending. I hung up, resolve fracturing, the lottery's curse fully realized.